What's up, everybody? Dan Matheny here. Anyway, I made a video yesterday, and with the last couple videos, I've kind of seen other Linux channels say something about uh, people that aren't necessarily, you know, doesn't necessarily have a Linux channel, or it's how they say things and do things. And I feel like, why have all these rules when no there's not always specific rules. Well, there's licenses for programs and Linux and stuff. Anyway, the reason why I'm making this video is because there's some people like me in the world that struggle with how they're wired, and I've been wired different my whole life, and I've struggled with that my whole life, and it's caused me problems in my adulthood. As a kid, I had problems. I got picked on for it, and it's made me a tough guy. But I don't care about being tough. I mean, deep down inside, I'm just a teddy bear, you know. Even though I wish I wish computers made a stronger keyboard. The perfect keyboard for me would be like a metal keyboard. But anyway, I have to hold my phone this way because one of the cats is outside and wants to sit on the banister, and that's fine. But the reason why I'm making this video is that if you're having problems, you're born with a sensory integration issue, you were misplaced in the 80s, the 70s, like I was, because I grew up in the 80s and I was misplaced, and people had to fight to get me in a better situation, and it's been a continuous struggle my whole life. And there's people in my family that have the same problem. I mean, I don't even know if it's hereditary or not, but sensory integration is real, and it's tough. You could be qualified to do something, and some people just misplace things because of how you say things. I mean, it's like this. I could say blue is the sky, and most people are processing the sky is blue, and that's how they want to say it, and that's how they want to process it. The sky is blue. But that's a good example. And sometimes I say things that don't always make sense to people, and I get it, and that's probably what they're commenting on, and I get it, okay? But they're not saying my name. I'm not going to say their name, and probably with some of the channels I'm absolutely wrong and I'm off, but it is something that's concerning to me, and maybe I misunderstand things because I overthink. But I feel like we should treat everybody with respect and dignity, even if people have a different opinion, because it's not going to do any good. But anyway, if you're in my shoes, you're not alone, because I've struggled with this my whole adult life. And I know that it'll all work out. I mean, I'm 40 years old, and I still am trying to figure out, hey, where do I belong in the scheme of things? But I have to stop trying to figure it out and just be where I am and be present and appreciate the people that do need me and care about me, and I do. But everybody wants to feel like they're important, or like they're doing something that makes a difference in the world, or they're really into what they're doing and they're having a good time. But yeah, pardon my eyes, it's allergies. That's why my eyes are like this. So, but I still love Linux, and I still make videos when I feel like it. When I think something will help somebody, because I love Linux, not because I want to make a video, but because I love what I do, and I love what I'm learning right now because I have the time to, and it's fun stuff. And even with FreeBSD, and what a gambit of an operating system. You have 5 different ways to mount a USB drive / external hard drive. You have many different ways to do things. And, that's something I'm still wrapping my head around, because I used it years ago, but I don't, like I said, I think, I was able to understand things better the last couple years of using Linux than I have in the last 20 years. And it's a great operating system, FreeBSD and Linux. But FreeBSD, the kernel's different, and how things are run are completely different in FreeBSD. And I used to say, well, Arch is similar to FreeBSD. I'd say Void Linux is, to a degree, because of source, because they have like a, you can install packages from source with the XPBS source install, whatever, because of the directory it would be in if you're downloading a package that needs to be installed that way. Because I've played around with Void, I play around with a lot of systems, but I think with FreeBSD, how can I put it into words? I got WebCamD to work with certain programs, and other programs I didn't. And for a lot of user programs, I'll say that it doesn't save all the settings. And maybe, I was reading about jails. Maybe it has something to do with jails, because I got everything up and running, and I could do it without the desktop installer. But you know what? The desktop installer saves time. And that's the thing. I think doing a mainline install, and I've said this before, doing a mainline install is important, even if you don't use it, even if you don't get everything right. Because what that mainline install will do is it will put you in the seat. Okay, it'll put you in control of how all your components are ran. And that's what you want. You want to learn how everything functions. So that way, when you're running your desktop, or your server, whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to know, hey, oh, this is failing, so I got to fix this. So I need to do my research. I need to read up and do that. But there's some guys that I met where, hey, they don't need Google, they don't need any of that. They've read the books and they can just do it by memory. A lot of things now I can do by memory, but other things I need to read about. Like, I almost remember, ETC network interfaces for Debian or Devon, which is the same process, which is interesting because Debian uses systemd and Devon uses sysvinit, OpenRC, or runit as their init system. But I feel like, with elognd, and I was reading about it, I was thinking, oh no, this could just be temporary, but it can't, because with elognd, it's gonna be there for a reason, because you can't just run something with just your basic init system anymore, because of Wayland coming down the pike here in the next 5 to 10 years. So with these different init systems that are coming up, it'll be like this. It'll be, okay, elognd talks to certain processes, which means you can run your Wayland compositor. Because yes, I messed around with Wayland also. I messed around with Sway, messed around with DWL, and with DWL, it's certain components work good and others do not. It's not ready for use. In my personal opinion, it's just not. Especially with my experience in using programs, it's not ready for use. It's just not. I love it, but in reality, if you're going to run a desktop every day, window manager or whatever component, it's going to get in the way because something breaks, you got to fix it. And I don't mind fixing it, because I fixed it and it worked fine, and something else would break and I would just have it in the background. I wouldn't use it all the time. I could use Sway all the time. And here's the thing with Sway and i3 I don't like, but I had not played with it enough. So I can get all the components working. Yeah, I don't have to really read about it that much, but I don't like it when you exit it, Sway or i3. Do you want to exit? Well, I exited. I have that shortcut there because I want to exit. I don't want to be prompted whether I want to exit or not, but I'm sure there's a way to change that. I just hadn't gotten around to it. So there's my ignorance for you, if any, and that's fair enough. But if you're in the same boat I am, you're not alone. Don't give up on yourself. Don't stay down for too long, because there's too much good to focus on, and there's too much potential not to be wasted. And everything is working out the way it's supposed to, and you're where you're supposed to be right now. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'm happy with what I'm doing right now, and I'm having a good time. But sensor integration is real, so if you're in my shoes, don't give up. Have a good day.